but we know that that's unacceptable, and we've got to be better at taking care of the football, period.
What are your overall thoughts after a game like that?
Very mixed, because we did a lot of great things to keep ourselves in that game, defensively, to give us a shot in the second half. And the offense came to life there in the second half and got enough points on the board. Defense kept getting us the ball back, and then to have the momentum in overtime and then not finish it the way we wanted to is it's a tough feeling, especially here in December. Told the guys that's a really good football team. That's a team that very well could find themselves in the mix in their side of the conference. They've been there, done that, and we want to be there and do that too. And we're going to play a lot of these games coming up. This is December. We put ourselves in a position for these things to mean something, and it's going to be this style of football. Definitely next week for the next 4 weeks, and we got to be ready for that.
Zach, take me through the thought process when you guys drive down in overtime to the 26. You don't want to blow anything and take yourself out of field goal range. Are you trying to think about that with the run calls early on, or what's your thought process on those plays?
The run calls early on in the
overtime from the 26-yard line.
In the red zone? Yeah, there were some things we packaged, based on what they were giving us. So they give us a lot of too high over the course of that game, a lot of cover two looks, and trying to take advantage of that in the run. So some of those were just mixed calls there.
Is that something where, they're kind of trying to dare you to run it at that point? And
that's been the whole game. That wasn't a new thing. That was every snap of the football game. We saw a lot of too high from them.
Is that kind of a chess match of you don't want to take the bait of what they're daring you to do, or you want to? Can you not really throw at that?
No. We've got a lot of faith in our run game, and our pass game. And I felt like we had a lot of momentum at that point. We had some good stuff going, and they got to stop there and put us in 3rd and 5, I think, and just got us there on that 3rd and 5 call.
Zach, a critical call, obviously, was the call on Vaughn, end of the first half. What was your view of that? Did you get an explanation, and was that a lack of discipline?
I didn't personally see it, but it sounds like it was probably what's been called historically this season with taunting. But I got to be careful because I haven't seen it yet. But some of the feedback was that's kind of what's been called.
Why do you think y'all struggled to run the ball today, given the light boxes that y'all had?
It's a good football team. They got healthy at linebacker. Fred Warner's one of the premier linebackers in this game. That's one of the best defensive fronts that we have played. I got a ton of respect for 97, 91, 93. Sampson, they got linebackers that do a heck of a job. That nickel triggers and fills and does a great job in the run game, and so it's tough. It's tough sledding. They present like it's a light box, but they do a good job filling it fast, and they got a really good front there that helps stop the run.
To that point, the first 3 quarters, what could you have done differently to find more opportunities for shots in the passing game against that kind of look? Is there anything?
First cover 2. Just got to be smart. We lost 2 possessions there on those 2 fumbled punts. So I think we had, a couple 3 and outs, maybe 2 or 3 and outs, and then we had the 2 possessions where we just scored 6 points. So we didn't score enough. But I think one thing we didn't want to get stuck in is just throwing the ball down the field for incompletions for tough looks, and so we tried to manage it appropriately.
What did you say to Joe Burrow before he took the field with 2 minutes and 40 seconds, and what did you think of that play for him to take you guys?
I don't know that I said anything in particular to him. We got a lot of faith in Joe. I think this team's got a lot of faith in themselves that when they give us a shot, defense give us a shot to get back out there on offense, that the belief is in 2 minutes. That's where we're at our finest. And I think it's hard to go back and, no, I guess I can go back. It's everybody stepped up and made plays on that drive. Everybody. I think we even had a run in there with Joe, and I remember TB with the big catch on the double move down the sidelines. Jamar had the double move for the touchdown. T had a monster catch, I think, to maybe start that drive off. So everybody that we expected stepped up. And let me tell you this, the line did a really good job too. There's a lot that I can see from the sideline where those guys are just right there, and our line fought their tails off, and Joe pushed up just enough to give him that extra half second to make those throws, and that really showed up because those guys were starting to tee off there, particularly in that drive.
Zach, what could you have done differently on Kittle, if anything?
Yeah, we tried everything. He's one of the best tight ends. We've known that for a long time, and he had similar production last week. I think he almost had 200 yards receiving, and it's not like he surprises people. You saw the catch he made that almost won them the game in regulation, that put them in field goal range. I mean, when a guy is that explosive and that big, that good of hands, that catch radius, he makes a lot of plays, and I promise you, we tried like hell to take him away, and he finds a way to make those plays.
Trenton returned punts last week. Why'd you make the change to Darius?
There was a lot of roster issues that we just had to manage, and overall dealing with some injuries, to where we structured it the way we structured it, just to get the guys on the field. We need to get on the field.
Given what you said about the offensive line, why do you think y'all gave up 5 sacks today?
Well, some of them were unblocked. Some of them were empty, a free rusher, and that's just sometimes they bring more than you got, and they do a good job with some of their disguises. A couple of those, the backed up one, Bosa got us on that one, and they just got a really good front, and when they know you're in a passing situation, we tried our best to avoid that because they can tee off, and they've produced sacks against every tackle they face, and so, but I thought our guys really fought hard, and we'll have to look to see what the 5 were. Maybe a couple of them were on the offensive line, maybe a couple of them were just on the scheme and the lack of protection. But it's hard for me to say. But I thought when we needed to, those guys really stepped up and gave Joe some time.
When Darius muffed the first punt and then he came back, he was cleared to go back in the game. As a coach, what goes into the thought process of putting him back in from a personnel
Yeah,
standpoint?
we just need our guys to step up and make some plays, and put that one behind us. And it unfortunately happened twice.
There's already a report out about Trey Hendrickson's back. Do you know anything more about the severity?
I don't.
To follow up on what Paul was asking about the play calling inside the 25 at overtime, Zach.
Yeah.
Understanding faith in the run game, understanding coverage dictates calls sometimes. Is there ever a thought as a play caller, like a quarterback's hot, stick with the hot hand, let's ride him and go out with him?
Yeah. Yep. I agree with you. That's one that'll keep you up at night, of we got a quarterback that can win us a lot of games, and there's maybe one more pass instead of a run there. Sure, if we hit that run, I feel great about it, but we didn't, and so then you go back to hindsight, and I'm sure I'll feel a lot of that tonight.
2 minutes?
Do you feel like you let an opportunity slip away, Zach, these last 2 weeks?
Yeah, I mean, every loss we've had, trust me, they all feel very equal. Feel like we should have won all of them, every game we played in. Some of them maybe don't look that way because of the score, but you just look back at one play, maybe that snowballed some effects. But that's, I think that's the NFL right now. Every team, trust me, I say that all the time. I can't believe we lost. That's what every team feels about every other week right now. And the key is just, okay, there's nothing we can do about it now. We got to fix the things that we can fix and be able to quickly put it behind us because we only have 4 games left, and the next one's a huge one in Denver. They're in a very similar spot that we are. And it's going to be the same style of game. There's no doubt about that. And so we got to find a way to bow up and win that one.
Can we get your thinking on the 2 fourth downs in the first half when you did not go for it?
Yeah, one in particular, we were going to go for it. We got a look that was kind of an unscouted look. It was not going to be a good play call. Then when we called the timeout, it was a little further than we thought. A 4th and 1 and then a 4th and almost 2. Just thought to take the points there. Our defense was playing really good, had a lot of faith in them. Really on the turnovers gave up 10 points. So there was a lot of decisions that, okay, our defense is doing well. Let's be smart here, take the points. Similar to probably the other one, I think it was more of a 4th and 2, 4th and 3, maybe on the other side. It's kind of same thought process there.
What does this offense need to do to be consistent? Because you see the flashes of it, the fourth quarter, right? How quickly they can score and move up and down the field. But what do you think the main thing is they need to do to be consistent?
I think today we played a pretty good defense. Last week we had the 4 turnovers. I mean, the turnovers really have been what's hurt our consistency. I think aside from that, it feels like we score about 30 points a game and have been one of the more explosive offenses. We got a lot of faith in that. And so our stress has been on we got to protect the football, and that's everybody because everybody's been involved in that. And then today we essentially had 2 turnovers. With those 2 punts, we lost 2 possessions that normally we'd have in the first half. So you went to halftime and it just felt like, man, we haven't had the ball very much. But that was because we had a couple 3-and-outs that were on us and just hadn't finished with touchdowns on 2 of those possessions that led to field goals and then lost 2 possessions on fumbled punts.
One more question?
Zach, do you feel like right now, as things currently stand, y'all are good enough to be a playoff team?
Absolutely. I mean, it's I don't think anybody wants to play us, quite frankly. And we haven't won all the games we felt like we should have won, but I think our guys have a ton of confidence. I think people see what we're about, see the talent that we've got in all three phases, and they know that we're going to fight to the last second. And we've had plenty of games where we've been down by 2-3 scores, and that hasn't phased our guys for 1 second because they fight like hell to get back in it and give themselves a chance to win. And I think that speaks volumes to this team, and it's going to serve us well these next couple weeks as we fight to do what you're talking about.
All right, Coach, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Two of the things, guys, and just not coming prepared. We not making the plays that we should, and we know as a team we got to count on each other. If the defense is struggling, offense has to bail us out, and vice versa. So, we just got to find ways to win games.
What's it like for you on the sideline watching those last couple of drives by Burrow and just kind of the way he was throwing, and that kind of feel like something special was happening?
Absolutely, we got all the confidence in Joe. We know if he has a chance to win this game or put it in position to tie like he did, we know he's the guy that can get it done for us. And he did that today. Defensively, we could have put him in better positions to close the game out and put some points on the board, but we didn't do that, and we took a tough loss.
Zach just said that you guys essentially tried everything to stop George Kittle today. Outside of him just being a very good player, what was Kyle Shanahan doing to scheme him open, or what was behind him having such a big day today here?
Starting with Coach Shanahan, he's an offensive mastermind. His record speaks for itself. He's a guy that can get playmakers the ball in different positions and let them do what he does. And today he did that with George, and we just couldn't stop him. He was making a lot of plays over the middle of the field and just run after catch. And we feel like we take those plays away, we're in a better position.
Mike, first of all, what was different in the overtime drive that you guys were on the field for as opposed to like most of the second half?
Wasn't too much different. We knew we had to get off the field. They were pretty much running the same plays that they were doing in the first four quarters, and they made plays when they needed to, and we didn't.
A couple more.
As someone who plays the same position as Darius, what can you say to him after a game like this?
Just don't lose confidence. We know that. In my opinion, that's one of the hardest jobs is to be a punt returner. You got guys screaming down on you, and you just got to, number one, catch the ball. And, he didn't do it, but we're not losing confidence in him. We know if he get the ball in his hands in space, he's able to make plays for us.
Last one.
You had said that guys had not come in prepared. Last week we had guys here after the game saying that the energy wasn't there to start the game. I mean, this is December, man. How can that happen?
I mean, it's just a roller coaster of the season. There's going to be highs and lows, especially this deep in the season. Teams are fighting for position, so every day counts at this point. And like I said, we took a tough loss, but we can't dwell on it. We got to go to Denver, and they're in the same boat as we, and we know we have to go out there and win.
All right, thanks, Mike.
Yep.
How did your pinky feel today?
Good enough. Was able to get the job done.
How challenging was kind of the chess match of the light boxes versus trying to maybe throw it more pre-snap? Were they trying to kind of almost feel like they were trying to bait you guys into running the ball a little bit?
They were playing too high the whole game. Teams are daring us to run the ball. They played one high, one snap the whole game, and we threw it over their head for what was close to a touchdown. So they had a good plan. They did. They were able to maintain their too high shell and still get a seventh guy in the box to defend the run. And in that second half, we started to figure it out a little bit. We were able to throw the ball more so in the second half. So just weren't able to pull it out.
What was the adjustment y'all made that allowed y'all to do that?
And we just maintained what we were doing. The O-line was protecting. You know, when they're playing too high, you got to take what's underneath, and you know, you do that enough, then they're gonna, you know, close that shell a little closer to the line of scrimmage, and then you can take those intermediate shots.
What a lot of those throws to T, that what you end up doing with that shell where they were clouding a little bit, you throw T in the middle of the football field, make them adjust a little bit.
Yeah, we hit T a couple times in the middle. We hit TB a couple times in the middle, and then you can also take advantage of those, you know, those outside areas between the corner and the safety that we hit a couple times.
Joe, would you have liked to have taken a shot or two or three at the end zone in overtime?
You know, whatever play call is called, we're gonna execute to the best of our ability. And we had a good drive there. We just weren't able to close it out.
When you're running against decisions, are you at the line of scrimmage, and how much of those decisions are the play call put in?
You know, we have some plays where you go to the line with 2 plays and, you know, get us to the best one depending on the look. So, you know, it really just depends on the play that's called and, you know, the coverage that you get.
On the tying touchdown, I guess I'm assuming that was against Shell. About a tying touchdown at the end of regulation.
Yeah, they played quarters. You know, they were clouding the boundary the whole game. So we started taking advantage of the field throws a little bit. And Jamar ran a great route, got that guy to bite, and threw it over his head.
As the leader of the team and the offense, how do you feel like you can get the group to start these games faster and the unit playing better early on in the game?
You know, we've kind of been a second half team the whole season. You know, we figure out what we're seeing, and then we go and attack it. You know, it's a 4-quarter game. You're gonna have ups and downs throughout the game, whether it's in the first half or the second half, and you just got to finish strong and try to find wins.
You had a chance to double them up there at the end of the first half and then get the ball to start the second half. How deflating was that fumble punt there right before half?
Yeah, you know, whatever, you know, there's different circumstances in every game that you have to adjust to and take advantage of the opportunities that you get. You know, stuff like that's going to happen. That's part of football. It's how you respond to that you know, really determines how you win or lose.
Joe, do you regret not being more aggressive when you had 1st and 10 to 26 in overtime?
It's hard to say. Like I said before, whatever plays are called, you got to execute. You know, every play has a chance of scoring a touchdown. It's just how you execute the play.
Does the feeling that y'all can be a playoff team still exist now than it did maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago or earlier in the season?
Yeah, we're still right there. You know, we got to find ways to win these games down the stretch and stop beating ourselves, but, you know, we're still right there.
Can you describe what you saw on the 4th and 5, the first touchdown to Jamar?
We got quarters to the field, and, you know, we had run a slant on him a couple times throughout the game, and, you know, we knew if we could call slant and go, we'd probably have a good chance, and we got the right coverage, and Jamar ran a great route, great catch.
Is there a commonality in maybe why y'all have been such a second half team and been able to, you know, been sputtered so many first halves throughout the season?
I think we make great adjustments at halftime. You know, our coaches do a great job of seeing what they're giving us and taking advantage of it. And we've really been able to do that really well in just about every single game we've played.
Seems like Jamar had about 10 different games out there. Did you talk to him at all after the first quarter, or say anything to him, or you kept going back to him?
Yeah, I mean, Jamar's one of the best players in the league already. I'm going to throw to him whenever I get a chance.
When I think Jamar in the back line of the end zone, you said before, you and Jamar, it's just like be a football player, find a spot. I mean, was that just back like in the LSU days, you know, kind of mental lefty and find a spot?
Yeah, I mean, that was such a great play by him. I started to roll out left, and so he, you know, being Jamar, he loves catching touchdowns, and he's great in the scramble drill. So I started rolling out left and then reversed field, and he did a great job of adjusting to the ball in the air. You know, that was one of my favorite touchdowns that we've thrown together. You know, that's when we really have to be on the same page almost immediately, and we were.
What made it one of your favorites? Why? Was the difficulty of the catch or the fact that you had to scramble and do it off script?
Well, when when I threw it, he was still running left. And he did a great job of, you know, we were just on the same page. I knew exactly what he was seeing, and he knew exactly what I was seeing, and he was running left, and I threw it right, and he put his foot in the ground and went and got it.
What percentage would you say you think he was at today, in terms of being able to put everything you wanted on it?
It was, you know, I felt like I was able to do what I needed to do. It was, you know, velocity probably not as high as I normally am, you know, maybe 80-85%, but you know, I was able to do everything that I needed to.
I mean, that throw you're talking about, the 4th and 5, I mean, you had something on that. I mean, you're going out of bounds.
Yeah, I sure did. You know, that was a fun play.
Does seeing Baltimore lose these last 2 weeks when you guys lost, does that mitigate the disappointment at all, or does it feel like opportunity lost?
You know, when you lose, you know, you feel the same. Obviously, you know, when one of the teams that you're fighting for the division with loses, you got to take advantage of that, and we haven't been able to the last 2 weeks. So, you know, like you said, missed opportunities.
All right, thanks, Joe. Thanks, Joe.